Hi, I'm just going to briefly go over how to use Wireshark to do the nslookup commands as part of the assignment that we have. So basically you're going to need the Wireshark program, and I have it open here. And also you'll need a command prompt window. And if you don't know how to find this, you can go to the start menu. It's usually under programs, accessories. So the first thing you want to do is go to Wireshark, go to the capture menu, and select interfaces. And this will show you all of your network interfaces. Usually the one you want is right up top, and if you can't identify it, you'll probably be able to tell just by looking at the fact that there are packets normally going over that network connection. So you want to hit start and then go to your command prompt window, and the first command to run is nslookup www.mit.edu. Okay, so we run the command, go back to Wireshark, go to capture, stop. So then we can answer the questions, and just to go over Wireshark a little bit in general, what you see in the first part of the window here is the list of packets that it captured, and then below that, as you select a packet, you will see the internals of that packet. So if we go to the list here, and your list may be more populated. I don't have anything else running on my machine, so there's no other network traffic, and so the only thing I see here is the DNS query that I just ran. You may have a longer list, you may have to search through it a little bit, but what you're looking for basically is the DNS query that says that it was a standard query going to mit.edu. So I selected that packet, and then down here, as I said, this is the information on that particular packet. And going through the layered network protocol stack, from the top we've got the hardware layer here, then you've got the network layer, then you've got the IP layer, then you've got the transport layer, and this will normally be either TCP or in this case it's UDP. And then you've got the application layer, and in this case we ran the nslookup, which is the domain name system program. So the first question is, what is the destination port for the DNS query message? Well, this is our DNS query. You can see domain name system query, and for the ports you can look right here under the user datagram protocol. Destination port is port 53, and this is normally this is the standard port for DNS queries, so this will always be port 53 when you're doing a DNS query. It also asks for the source port, which on our case is right here. Now this will always be a different number. The source port in a DNS query is your local port, and that's randomly generated and tracked by the application. So this is not necessarily important. What's important is the destination port in this case, which is 53. To what IP address is the DNS query message sent? Here you can see right under Internet Protocol that the source, this is my local machine, and the destination here is 192.168.0.1, which happens to be my home router, which also serves as the DNS server. Which is, I guess, the second part of that question, which states, is this the IP address of your default local DNS server? To answer that question, we can just run back to our command prompt window and type in ipconfig/all. And this will give all of the network configuration information. And particularly what you're looking for is your local area connection. And in this case, what you're looking for right here is DNS servers for your local area connection, and as you can see, mine is set to 192.168.0.1. So the answer to that question is yes, it's the same address as the destination port for this NS query, which is what it should be. Next question, examine the DNS query message. Okay, it's the same packet query message. What type of DNS query is it? Well, then we go to our query here, and if you drop down here to where it says queries and you expand that, you'll see that the query was for www.mit.edu. It's a type A query, which is a host address query. So that answers the type question. Does the query message contain any answers? No, it doesn't. It's a query. It shouldn't contain any answers, so no. But if there were answers, it would be strange, but they would be below here in the packet. Next question. Examine the DNS response message. Okay, so you see here we have the query. Shortly thereafter, down below, you should be able to find a response. So here's the response. And question states, how many answers are provided? Okay, so if you go down into the domain name system response here, you can expand this answers section, and you'll see right away that there are three answers for this particular query. And what does each of these answers contain? Well, this sort of goes in order. It sort of tells you that mit.edu is a type CNAME record. It's a canonical name, and basically it serves as an alias. So what it's saying here is that www.mit.edu actually is an alias for www.mit.edu.edgekey.net. The next answer that you see is that www.mit.edu.edgekey.net is also an alias for this server at e7086.b.akameedge.net. And finally, the last response message tells you that that machine, E708.6, is a type A. This is an actual host. Now, this is not an alias. This is a host, and it actually has an IP address number. So that is ultimately the computer that is hosting www.mit.edu. So basically, it all resolves down to this IP address. And I think that answers all of the questions for one nslookup exercise. The other ones are quite similar. In fact, the questions are exactly the same. You would just go through the same process. Again, going back to capture, start, it will ask you if you want to save these packets that you captured, and normally you don't need to. And so I just continued without saving, and then we're capturing again. And so you would just go back here, run the next nslookup command, and answer the questions accordingly. Hope that helped.